So today is the anniversary of Bhéal. That means we actually celebrated
And we're getting small pictures of poetry and each other.
basically all you do is leave and have a look if there's anything you like. If you haven't brought anything from someone else, by someone else. Yeah, but if it's a rain poetry by someone else that you want to read.
I thought we were swapping.
Actually, like, that's what they have. These are awesome friends.
Now am I supposed to know what somebody else
See, I brought stuff that I translated, and I make my own.
Sorry about that. Oh, they're there.
I
think we're.
Before I go up, and I
think we are.
I might translate. That's how I do it. No, you don't have to do it. You can do it from the book, from the 5 words that I want to do it, right? If you want, leave to it and have a look at this and anything there. And then obviously, I want you to do that.
Hello everyone, welcome. Okay, so we're gonna get started now, guys. So today is the is it the 13th anniversary? 16th anniversary of Bhéal.
15 already.
Oh, you need to fix that. Okay. So the 16th anniversary of Bhéal, the 683rd event, and it's a special evening tonight with the launch of the 16th of the 5-word anthology and the year anniversary event. So if you haven't been to Bhéal before, the evening is broken up into, I think, 3-4 parts. The first part is the 5-word challenge, which I'll explain in a moment. The second part, we're going to hear from our shortlisted guests, 5-word winners and our winners themselves. And we will also have space for people who've contributed on the 5-word challenge book. You can read your own poem, you can read someone else's poem if you wish. We'll then have a little break and we will have the open mic. And there's only one rule for the open mic tonight, and that's that you can't read anything you've written yourself. You have to read a poem by another author. It could be someone famous, it could be someone local. Maybe we can make an exception if you've flown from Vermont. But okay, so we're going to get started with the 5-word challenge. So you, the audience, are going to give me 5 words. We will then have 15 minutes to write a poem with those. And the loudest reaction, or, the most profound reaction from the room, and our Zoom contributors as well, will win some poetry books down here, and a pint courtesy of the Long Valley Bar. So can I have a word from someone? Can someone start us off?
Still from
Still, like stay still. Brittle. Okay. Brittle. Door? Did I hear door?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 3 so far. That's still, brittle, door. Anniversary. Okay. Quake. Like earthquake. Lovely. Okay. So we have our 5 words. I think you can use quake other ways, like quaking in my boots, something like, I don't know. Okay, so that's still, brittle, door, anniversary, and quake.
And what if you
Lon from Vermont and can't find any pen.
You can write it on iPad or iPhone. We have pens.
Thank you very much. I certainly will. I certainly will.
Okay. Happy writing.
One more time. First reading quick.
Okay, guys, we're just up at the 15-minute mark now. So has anyone got something they'd like to go ahead and bring up? And if you got anything done in 15 minutes, fair play to you. Yeah, we've got Anthony. Okay.
Hi. So this poem is called Soul. Still as the soul of a child, your words are brittle, invincibles, hidden door of an undiscovered kingdom. Every day is an anniversary, a rebirth within each single note of your words. Call me by your name, quake in the cosmos, atomic bomb in verses. Thank you.
Lovely, thanks, Antonio. Anyone else want to? Okay, we've got our Vermont guest.
Just also want to say that the 5-word prompt has been fantastic for me. I'm just really very happy. So at any rate, this has no title. It is a little past the brittle anniversary of the Turkish quake. Much of the rubble has been cleared, but stilled bodies still lie where they fell. Some may never be found. You trust the earth until you can't, but you can't hate your mother forever.
Thanks very much. Actually, is another thing, if you're coming up, can you tell me your name if we haven't met before, just so I can write it? Okay. Anyone else? Go on. Yeah, I'll just leave it up.
Thinking of Cornelius again. There's a fire in her, so do not touch. She dances to small muscles, tiny brittle movements, subtle, soft, or profound. On her tippy toes, the naked, delicate feet step, and then she stops. And nothing could ever stay so still. A quake of a broken heart, the downpour of rain, the nervous feeling of trying a locked door that you shouldn't open. On our anniversary, I touched the memory, and it felt like fire, blue, purple, cinder fire. A burn, a regret of a beauty in time. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
Oh, sorry.
Well, no, it's good. No, they work.
There you go.
Cheers. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, thanks. This one's called Suppression. I'm fine. I'm fine. The phrase delivered brittle through a still, tiled smile, but my jaw creaks like a door that's seized and held, feverishly shut, with a quaking child's grip and footing that slips against the barraging force of what's held back. All the force of uncounted feeling shoved behind the splintering portal, just so this room can stay empty. Amassing pressure and fury with every daily anniversary that I do not confront the histories of affront and surrender to the slipping steps of feeling so I may access some healing.
Okay, we've got Moira Stevens on Zoom.
Hi. It's called Anniversary Dinner. Stands by the door, brittle smile on her face, welcomes him home. He calls her a disgrace. Anniversary dinner. She wanted it right. spent the day in the kitchen preparing for this night. Her hand trembles and quakes as she serves up his plate. Still he's not happy, still it's not good enough. He yells and he blusters, acting so tough. Anniversary dinner, a year since that first blow. Anniversary dinner, a year since he made her blood flow. Anniversary dinner, but there won't be another. She won't take any more. Silently watches as he falls to the floor. Silently watches and offers no aid. Silently watches till he can't be saved.
Jamie O'Halloran.
We have another Zoomer, Jamie O'Halloran.
1995. On the anniversary of the quake, I remember how dust rested in the air, still above the dry river's bed. How the oven door opened long enough for the skillet to hop inside from the hob above. I remember the shifted walls, how corruptible all structures were, how brittle our unsettled lives.
Hi. I called it waiting. Sorry.
Gun brittle we have. The gash in my heart raw today from the picking, with Easter past and still no news from you. My door is ajar for you. Tonight it leaves a poem through, as I quiver and quake for the second anniversary of your leave take. We sit and say nothing. No word can convey our feelings. No expression helps to overcome this pain. We can only keep the door open and wait.
Gabriel Deacon.
Okay. We've got Gabrielle Deacon on Zoom.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Apologies, I've got a bit of a sore throat, so it may not be very understandable. Another year, and it hurts still. Another anniversary of that August day. The ringing of the phone, which belonged to my newly dead father. A voice, which was a door into the past. A quaked out message. A brittle new universe in which you are the friend who drowned.
With Laura, sorry, Laura.
Okay. Laura? Yeah, we've got Laura. Okay.
A visit from your impending death. Unbeknownst to you, today's date is going to be our anniversary one day. I'm already counting the years backwards, but I will spare you the exact number. Indeed, I did not come here to see you quaking in your boots. I came instead to buttress your brittle dreams, to leave that door open a little. You see, there is still time.
Cedric Picant.
Hold the door. Lean on it with all your weight. Don't let them in. Hold your breath. Let it out. The house shook, so much so that, despite the heavy door, the quakes ran through the walls. and broke the roof tiles. These sure were brittle, but like the rest, still held in place. This anniversary celebration had been so far a fiasco, but the usual intrusive thoughts were kept at bay, and soon the meds would kick in.
We've Pam Campbell on Zoom.
Okay. Slender silhouette stills, sliced shadow space, heavy steel-toed boots quakes door wide, brittle breath betrays this anniversary day.
I pleaded, "Be still, my beating, bleeding heart," but it took such a beating, it's still a little brittle, with a tiny, tiny riddle just tucked in the middle. It's the 2-year anniversary of when we split, and you're still behind a locked door in my mind, and I still don't dare open it. I tremble and I quake, and I tremble and I crumble and I crumble and I shake, and I drink just enough so I only dream of you when I'm awake.
We've got Adrian. For first time?
Yeah. Hi. So people were reading breakup poems, so I'm reading an anniversary poem. It doesn't start out nice, but this June, my husband and I will have been married for 10 years. For this anniversary, I will be elsewhere. I will book a taxi, grasp the brittle leather handles of my battered case, and walk through the door. The taxi driver, let's call him Raphael, will ferry me across still rivers, hopefully not too far, hopefully not across rivers that rob you of your memory. I'd rather drop the pennies into Raphael's unexpectedly smooth palms than have him collect them from my eyes. Still, I will go no matter the cost, and I will board the plane and I will fly home. Home, heavy word, and strange, and me strange within it. What might I recognize? What there might quake under my fingers or my feet? What is still unknown for me about a place to be returned to, that I travel to lightly, and who holds lightly onto me with his words for the places and the things we've built? Is he not my home as well?
I have an offering.
I think I heard someone on Zoom have an offering.
It's Glenn Matthews here.
Glenn Matthews. Okay.
With a deeply profound piece. So listen carefully. It's called The Morning After the Birthday Bash. He stumbled to the kitchen door, still brittle from the night before. Quaker oats might line his stomach just in time to save him from another anniversary decline.
It's like part 2 of the singer. Part 2. So. I should try to rewrite it again. He bristles silently for his or brittle senses. Still, he must remain still. Eyes down, shades drawn, mirrored, refracted back inside of him. Now, how to play them? Experts, quasi-quack doctors, interlopers, stealing my time, reframing innocent crimes. Ingenues to him. Ingenues even. They must see my maris serenitatis, my tranquil moonface. For men of many facets, shuffle for every occasion. Tacit, taciturn, savage, urbane. This surface fits perfectly for my mood of urban sanity, my model of urban sanity. For paucity, there will be no paucity. For any rumbling, any hidden inner quaking space. No glimpse of last anniversary through misty, clammy tears, whirl tires, submerged in a mask of blandness, unrattled, impervious. I can't pry to this swampy, misty time to when she was mine, 'cause I'm fine, just fine. Enigmatic smile, sublime.
Thanks. We've got Catherine Ronan.
Happy Easter, everyone, and happy Easter to my Zoom buddies. And I met Matt for the first time in person last Friday at Michael Durick's book launch. I call this Now. The third universe of now still sucks its own Milky Way. Stars collide and our brittle lips touch in the star nursery, birthing our 1000th anniversary. Here we stand, grass stains running from mouth to chin, closing the half door on famine for the last time, as we quake for the first time in Van Diemen's land, stolen ribbon binding our wrists, split tongues recalling us to now.
Any other contributors? Oh, brilliant. What's your name?
Only in the door, quaking at the thought of the anniversary, like a cactus still brittle from 20 years of neglect.
Cara came in with 1 minute left on the challenge. Any other people? Matt Mooney, is it? Okay, Matt Mooney.
Still and speak. Must you wander from room to room, kindling the brittle silence of preoccupation, breaking the loneliness but not killing it? If everyone sat still in the evening relaxation and appreciated each other in calm tones, stoking the fire not to cause a quake, but to warm our hearts and celebrate again and again our little sacred anniversaries of our family ties, from a slow avalanche of fellow feeling from higher places, stored away and seldom enough allowed to explode from the mouths of our beings, straight from our central core.
So we have 18 people so far. Any others tempted to come up and take their shot? I mean, again, as I said, to put anything together is amazing in 15 minutes, so don't be shy. Okay. What was your name?
Yeah, Jen. Jen, yeah. She wishes he'd closed the door when he went. The window is open. A shaft of the moon's light travels out and down towards the basement, and she can't help but imagine the arrival of a stranger there. It is a stage light now, still waiting for a tall man, always tall, for the same quake of boots across the floor, an anniversary of horror, never quelled by the brittle kisses of a weak man with weak hands, a man who goes away after midnight, who forgets the steady, constant stay of love.
Thanks very much, Jen. Glad I coerced someone else to come up.
We have one.
We have one on Dante on Zoom.
This doesn't have a title yet, but I made friends with the brittle dark, breath a quake in my lungs like a fallen house. You left the door unlocked the night I ran. Fear swallowed, cold. The anniversary is soon. The dregs of April. I think I'm still running.
I'm not going to say anything now. I'm just going to put pressure on you to do I didn't put anything together, no. Okay, going once, going twice. Come on, anyone else? Okay, I think we'll now consult with the poetry gods. I didn't have any part in this. It's all your reaction, so I'm just simply a conduit and I'm absorbing the answer. So the poetry gods made it very hard this evening because there's a lot of great poems and a lot of great reactions. Some jumped out, and I think it was a kind of a lightning in a bottle situation. Someone had very little time to put it together, but I think just did it. There was a really strong ooh or ah kind of at the end. So I think it went to Cara Casey tonight. You must come up and read your poem again to claim your prize.
Thanks.
So you get all these books and you get a drink.
Really? Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Oh, thank you. God, I'm delighted. Thanks. Only in the door, quaking at the thought of the anniversary, like cacti still brittle from 20 years of neglect.
Thanks a million, Cara. Oh.
Thanks. Thanks a million.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the next part of the night, which is our our winners, our contributors. But I have to do a few announcements, well, actually quite a few announcements before we dive in. Okay, so first of all, and this applies to online and in person, so anything happen, come let us know. Bhéal aims to maintain a safe space for writers and all attendees. We subscribe to the Art Council's Equality, Human Rights and Diversity policy, and we ask participants to report any offensive behaviour to Bhéal. So we have just concluded the 10th 5-word international poetry competition, and tomorrow, the 11th 5-word international poetry competition opens 12 p.m. and our judge is the one and only Theo Dorgan. So the words, we get a little preview into the words. So if you want to start now, before 12 p.m., you've got a head start. They are map, polish, dawn, random, and oxygen. So if you plan on staying up all night for writing a poem, map, polish, dawn, random, and oxygen. Another competition opens on the 1st of May, and that's the 11th Bhéal International Poetry Film Competition. You can find more details on www.ovale.ie. Just a notice for everyone to please be aware that this event is recorded and will be available to revisit as an MP3 podcast and on video on Bhéal's website, social media, and Vimeo channels. Vimeo.com/Bhéal. Feels like I'm doing an ad. Our featured guests on Monday, the 8th of May, is a bilingual Forest na Gaeilge night with Dara O'Cuiv, who's live from Montana, and Darena Ní Cinnéide, who will be here in person. All are welcome to attend in person or online. And if you'd like to participate via Zoom, like these lovely people, you can email info@ovale.ie. Thank you everyone who has to date kindly offered donations. It's a very, it helps keep this organization running nice and smoothly. If you want to donate in person tonight, there is a little jar under the horse's head with a beautiful mustard hat. So that can be passed around the room, that little jar there. And you can also make donations online via PayPal under the live poetry stage or the contact us page, ovale.ie/blog/contact us. So then more kind of things happening around in the whole poetry scene. We've got Lime Square Poets on Thursday nights, commencing the 13th of April. So is that this week? Yeah. And the guest will be Mary McCauley. We've got the World Book Festival at Cork City Library with Cork City Library in Triskel. That's on next week. There's some flyers, little red and yellow flyers there. I'm actually in one of the events and with Molly Toomey, and we have Sue is in an event, and we've Catherine Ronan, just to give some shout outs. So yeah, that should be fun. So have a look at those flyers. We also have Sling Slang, which is a bit like Bhéal, an open mic with some guest poets. That will be in Maureen's on Wednesday, the 9th of April. And that is going to be with Molly Toomey and Speculative Fiction. So Wednesday, 19th of April, I think it's 7 o'clock, and it's in Maureen's, which is it's a small little pub that is opposite Knapp Square, the apartments. You can look it up, Maureen's. Okay, I'm just also going to mention as well, we have Debarra's Spoken Word tomorrow night in Clonakilty, Tuesday the 11th. We'll have the guest poet John W. Sexton, or Sex W. Johnston, sometimes goes by. And we actually have some guests from Vermont here who Rolf was actually shortlisted in the competition, so you'll hear from him a bit later. But if anyone's actually heading out to Debarra's, give them a shout. They're looking for a lift just to get there. So if anyone knows of a lift going out to Debarra's tomorrow night. Okay. And that's these three lovely people here. Yeah. Okay. I think we can move on now to the next part of the evening. So our shortlistees and winners and final, So I'm going to introduce people with their bios and go into more detail here. To start with, oh, hang on now, let me just look at my itinerary. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, here it goes. Okay. Thanks, Paul. Okay, so Bhéal's 16th anniversary event celebrates the launch of the 5 Words Volume 16, which you'll see littered around the place. And the winners of our 10th 5 Words International Poetry Competition. The winners and shortlist of 12 were selected by Judge Victoria Kennefic. Shortlisted poets will also read, as well as contributors to Bhéal's Monday night 5-word challenge held over the past 12 months. The anniversary open mic is reserved for poems written by other poets. I mentioned that at the beginning. So when it comes to the open mic, not your own poem. Even if you're from Vermont, I think.
Yes, but I'll need the internet.
You need the internet.
To find a specific format.
Yeah, I can help you. Or someone can help you. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to introduce our third place, Glyn Matthews, who is on Zoom from England. So he's an ex-art English drama teacher who became an artist. He has a long-held love of writing, which enhanced his images with poetry. So the two art forms melded together. Now no longer needing the sale of artwork to support him, and with COVID interrupting his preferred route, he started concentrating more on his writing. He finds it stimulating, and the Bhéal competition absolutely appealed. His successful poem enabled him to explore repressed emotion based on a true experience. He has self-published 2 books of poetry. A Picture on the Wall Dwells Always in the Corner of Your Eye, and A Book Will Close to Dwell Quietly in the Corner of Your Mind. So can we have our third place, Glyn Matthews, please? Round of applause, please.
Thank you very much. So my poem was entitled Terms of Endearment. As I say, it's inspired by a real event. From my bed, I heard my father enter in a drunken rage, beat midnight to a pulp, as the jukebox played from down below and thumped its bass notes, beating time, while the motor gutsy revved outside. Next day, I hesitated in the lounge and wondered at the latest stains upon the wall, that slowly changed from red to brown. It was about that time my budgie died. I can't remember if I cried, staring at his stiff blue body at the bottom of the cage. I laid him in a cardboard box with tissue paper and the millet spray and took him to my grandma's on the other side of town. We dug a grave between the hawthorn and the daffodils, spoke some words and wrote Joey on a lolly stick. Then my father went away. The heat died down. The world turned more slowly, and my mother stopped walking into doors. I don't know why I wet the bed. My mother changed the sheets in the middle of the night and wordless sat and stroked my head. I can't recall my father's face, although I still see Joey with his sparkling eye. And in the wee small hours, sometimes I hear the tinkling of a little bell, but what he's trying to say, I cannot tell.
Yeah, I was Yeah, you have 5 minutes if you want to get another poem for us, Glyn.
Yeah, I can give you another one.
All right, brilliant. Thank you.
I give you Earth Abides. When my turn comes, take me to the west, to the knoll, Barcladiani Gaurus, where we used to stroll around the stones fashioned by ancients and burnished by time, embraced by the tumbling waves of a Celtic sea, sliding silver into a sunlit bay, chided by gulls rising on updrafts, white flecks against the scudding sky. For now, summer tourists blunder across the mound, taking selfies against the light, squinting and listening to the sound of thunder from the rocks below. Afraid to fall, they lean into the white-lipped wind, hair whipped across half-baked grinning faces, rigor mortis faked and fixed by pixels, then transported in an instant to fair weather friends. Meanwhile, with Neolithic grace, I'll nurse my bones and slow my pace, feeling with blind eyes for ley lines that once played across the face of this prehistoric land, tracing ghosts that stride between the stones, waiting for silence beneath the tumbling sky and the yearning of the gulls, soaring high above lonely promenades and abandoned summer homes. After all, Earth abides. Thank you.
Beautiful reading, Glyn. Thanks so much. So next up, we're going to have our second place winner, Alison McCrossan, who's here with us tonight. Yeah. So Alison McCrossan is from Cork. She took a master's in creative writing in UCC in 2019, with an interest in fiction and a growing interest in poetry. Her publications include The Honest Ulsterman, Southward, Cranogue, Abridged, Orbis, and Stand magazine, forthcoming. Her novel In Progress, The Archaeologist, has been longlisted for the Penguin Michael Joseph Undiscovered Writers Prize 2023. That's a prize.
Thanks. This is the poem that came second. It's called Walking Alone. I was down by the clear water watching minnows dart over stones, taking comfort away from teenage taunts. Hills scaled by gorse rose on the other side of the valley. A fella I'd seen around a few years older than me arrived over my shoulder, bare-chested and tipsy. He started asking me questions. I don't remember the content, just staring at the slopes. I remember him leaning in for a kiss, the stickiness of his skin, the roughness of hair as I pushed at his chest. I remember telling a friend later, remember her saying, "You kissed him, didn't you?" Like there was nothing else I would do. I remember sitting on a rock after he'd gone, how I lifted a plastic bag from a bush and trapped 2 minnows, how I left them to dry under the sun, how 3 crows descended close by, how a lone starling flitted in and pinched a minnow in its beak, how the other starlings wouldn't be far behind. And the next poem is from Southward, Dendrochronology. Spiraling beaches lobbed to earth were perfectly aged, so full in summer they laced a lucid green sky. Ochre golden shifts patterned the woodland floor. The mulch of dark spells set in until spring. There a child astray with shadows of phobia and her desire was losing trust and staggered outside, out of words into places caterpillars go, dandelion fields, spheres of air and seed. Grass so tall she swam with the wind into the woods to the biggest beach, flung her arms wide, pressed her body against its trunk, looked up into fingers stretching for the light. The thread-like veins of green heart, oxygen, promise, flow of rain, sky to ground, root, bowl, branch, leaf, sky, river, sea, Waves crashed up the shore, incessant, raucous creator of life, eroded her pain inch by inch in painting. Line, colour, stroke, daub, word, smile, and never did nature ask of her. Now she sits in her car, window down, listens to all that's gone, echoes down faraway slopes, transported to those stumps where exposed rings map years of struggle and growth. Thanks.
It's Malin Allison. Congrats again. So we'll now hear from our winner. He's on Zoom. Is he?
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just introduce you there now first. So our winner, David Ross Linklater, who's here with us on Zoom from Scotland, is a poet from Baltimore, Easter Ross in the Highlands. He's the author of 4 pamphlets, most recently Star Muck Burach from Wish Fulfillment Press. And he's the recipient of a Dewar Arts Award and has been shortlisted for the New Writers Award and Edwin Morgan Award. His new work has appeared in Dark Horse, Bath Mag, New Writing Scotland, and Gutter. He lives in Glasgow, where he works as a screen printer. Big round of applause for David Ross Linklater.
Thank you very much. I just realised how incredibly dark it is. It's not really that dark here, but oh, sorry, my partner's bringing over a big light. I apologise, I couldn't be there in person. I had a wedding this weekend, not my wedding, but I had a wedding. And I'm in my 30s now, so my friends get married like every 4 hours, so I've got quite, quite a lot of them to go to. But I'm going to read 4 poems. I'll read the one that won the award at the end, but I'll read a few before that. So this one's called Acquiring Delicate Freedoms. On the hill I saw the fire working, ran from my home to hook the sight in full spectral bloom. Heat from shaking winds, blistered sands, the hill and her suicides of heather, stood open-mouthed as night gnawed its million orange teeth, saw that the whole of parts can erupt, that God might not have alighted anywhere, or that it all might destroy itself just to be sincere, and us only here to witness that, make it bend a bit. Many came to watch, some became particularly studied in the flames, in the big thing that had come to feast. Not an ordinary Tuesday at all. A child, I was rewired to the new suffering morning. Glass of the sea, blessed and fragile, I took pleasure in the water I had not taken before, and in the night, which was a new fine linen. Woke the next day for the first time, belonging not to hills or fires, even to gods, but to my own bones, pale and darling, my disintegrating concepts, wearing the clothes of strange new freedoms. Thank you. This next one I'm going to read is called Field Language, and it was a poem in the pamphlet Star Muck Burach with Wish Fulfillment Press. It is not nothing, day bleeding its blues as the gulls shake, as the machine leans a heavy shoulder into the dirt and the workers pray for worms, unfurling the wire, steadying the fence posts, their grandfather's hands, their great-grandfather's hands bringing the mallet down the dirt road. The old house wilts in the ears, its big mouth opened on the floor, black-throated with soil and wet wood. There, the wind bends cords of banisters and rotted boards, making a strange low-down tune. The old man who walked its garden until he did not. His mouth was full of combines and horses. He was not nothing in his nothingness, in his wheat sceneries, when the land was thirsty for more than water. when the ice cubes rolled in tumblers and mirage bent the hills. He told the boy, "These acres belong to the heart. They will lean that way forever." And as the mallet comes down on the final post, tying the field anew to its boundaries, the boy finally hears him. So, so this one is also from that pamphlet, and it's called The Feeding. The shoreline is not the shape it once was. A century of salt has buckled the pier, that skinny wrist tied with a bangle of boats. The villagers say it's only right the water brings change. Time itself needs fed. Anyway, it doesn't seem long since the Ella Brewster floundered, going down by the bow, the mussels pouring. What's 100 years to a beach? When the famous storm was on, the one in the red frame above the fire that shot water 80 feet over the harbour as if it was nothing, and jettisoned its weeds and rock, they watched as wind feasted on the land, forever altering the way the universe was proclaimed. The sermon of the dunes rubbed down to refrains. Each wave reared up with its own story, crashing upon dark sands with the weight of gods you may not observe but in the soul of a place. Walls went extinct. Fields were now what the sea required of them, and it was the old lady on the hillside with her toes in a new landscape. It was the dead beast brought ashore in a tangle of rope pale as old veins. That was long ago. Everything in exchange. The blue ache of the sea is tomorrow's harvest, massing itself in unfathomable ratios. Each model of existence balanced, gulls shivering over rock pools, dolphins gutting wave folds, whelks vacuumed into the big sadness of all. Somewhere between two storms we fuse, caught in the moment before the water cracks. That being the inspiration for life, the lust for it. The waves will never not throw themselves high, grey water heaping its sins as the ancients rise in these most gorgeous rolling bulks, and the unchanging permanence of the sea passes 100 years in one tide. Thank you. Okay, so I'll read the last poem. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a real pleasure to be part of the award, and it's been amazing hearing everyone's work. And maybe I'll go over to Cork at some point. Mary, yeah. No, my partner's saying yes, well, yes. So this was the poem that got the award. It's called Lighthouse Mother. A masterpiece. She does not need an audience when sketching the crimes of waves, their rolling weeds and white knuckles. Captains cannot compete with the clarity of her vision. She works the hours of a saint somewhere between glory and torment. Others simply do not fit there. She has shouldered the many storms of novel nights, buoys raised on purple 100-foot waves, Nuckelavee roaming the crests, stripping whole crews out like feathers. Having cut through mist, the descriptions of silence, she has learned to chart suffering by the ton, offer direction across the salt fields. Having watched sky imitate sea, perfect poetry slopping in rock pools, reciting itself, rain and hornery, sun and limpet, she is the attempted answer to our unknowing, a pureness hauled out over the blue. Though she cannot promise life, she has come to know a kind of peace, aiming for that, as stars wash their own bodies, as gods come and go with the shoaling. What innate skill to dance upon the isthmus, to fall so completely into darkness, then blast it away. The finest returning of light, the soft tuning of hope where there is none. Thank you very much.
Congratulations again, David Ross.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Definitely a worthy winner. Fantastic poem. So we're now going to hear from our shortlisted poets. I think all of them are on Zoom apart from our Rolf here. So we'll start off with Laura Thies. Is Laura here? Thies?
Yes.
There we are. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Hey.
You ask her how she pronounces that.
Is it Thies or Thies?
It's actually Tice.
Tice.
Sorry.
No, thanks for teaching me. Okay. So we'd like, yeah, I'll let you read your poem.
It's called Gifted. We don't know how many witches exactly we asked to her christening, and how many others appeared uninvited and offended at the slight. Witches are hard to count, and their gifts may be hard to account for. We're still trying to puzzle out which ones were meant as curses and which ones will turn out to be favors. We've kept them all to be safe. Put some in storage in a shoebox under her bed, next to her collection of interesting pebbles. Sometimes she lays them all out, takes one and holds it in her palm like a small sun, to examine it closely. Here's my wildness, she might say, my inconsistency, my flair for maniacal dance moves, my brittle temper, and look, here are all the echoes of you that sorrow inside me and demand to be turned into song.
Thank you so much, Laura, coming to us from Zoom. So we also have Phoebe Colby, who's from Canada, coming to us from Zoom. Is Phoebe with us? I don't see Phoebe there. Maybe we'll come to the room to our Rolf Parker Houghton, who's travelled here from Vermont.
Wow. So, this is the University of Brattleboro and the Uncluttered Table. And my wife gave me permission to read this. You aren't going to believe me unless you look this up. But I, Dr. Balderdash, created a fake university and a fake paranormal paleontology department. And with my very real wife, Cynthia, who created a miniature Yeti. So of course we call it Tiny Foot. Out of a G.I. Joe doll she covered in fur and added a new face to sculpted from clay. And we took his photo running in a touch-me-not forest. And we laughed and made a baby and loaned Tinyfoot to our local librarian, Francisco Alejandro, who filmed him swinging in a tree. And if you move to Vermont, check out Tinyfoot from the local library and make your own fake photo. And we bought a house and cast plaster chicken Rex bones in dinosaur bone-shaped holes. And we dug in our backyard with David and Jude and buried the bones downtown and flew fake UFOs off of a parking garage, black helium balloons, fishing poles, LED lights plus people willing to believe equals UFOs. And we got a pig skull from a pig roast at my friend's birthday party. Popped some goggles on him, a pig skull, goggles plus people who need to laugh equals UFO alien. And buried him under a tombstone on which we chiseled in the words, "In memory of the mysterious Brattleboro airman." And we buried his stone, and we dug up his stone, and his skull, and his ribs, and the chicken wrecks in front of people who bid in an auction for the remains. And our son, who loves life and math, collected their money, and they cheered because we were faking a UFO alien crash site just for them. And I invited them to march around the tombstone of Levi Fuller, the long dead governor of our state that is living with fentanyl and floods dropped on us from the warm ocean, who was also a scientist who tried to establish the note A at 435 vibrations per minute. And the people marched, blowing notes on bottles and clacking wooden clackers, tuned the way he liked it. And Susan Keyes from Vermont Public Radio came and left with a story. And Chris Mays from The Reformer came and interviewed Dr. Riel Foe and left with a story. And we made love on the table, and much, much later, invited people in town to our house to carve floating jack-o'-lanterns, and we took them to gently dip their creations in the mighty Quinticue, and the burning pumpkins float downstream to the cheers of people. We have video, who have sent them to the sea every Halloween with us for the last 20 years, and set out a little model of Cynthia's Holstein Brontosaurus hybrid at Malfunction Junction in front of the Holstein Association building, and took the gentle beast photo from the right angle so that it seemed to be a giant in the street, blocking traffic. And next to the museum where my wife's intricate silver wire fish were displayed, back when I was just her math teacher boyfriend who didn't do his share of the dishes, and embarrassingly admitted to this Carhartt-wearing carpenter, this wilderness canoe hike leader, this bronze caster, this sculptor, this arty Artemis, that I sometimes liked women dressed in poof-sleeve dresses from the 1800s, and even liked them dresses with a bustles on them as works of art, because I thought it made women look ripe as mangoes. And she laughed and said, "Never," before marrying me forever, despite our mismatch in many other things. Would you believe that the joy I have sought to bring this town is due in part to my tumbles into a hidden pit and my desire to pull others out? Would you believe after we were married, we were both sometimes harmed by this steady certainty of disappointment in each other and years of fermenting frustration? It happens. And what if I told you our arguments, our differences were worse than fights? Not mean, never hands, only words of blind despair, but so hopeless at times. It felt like the only way we stayed together was by taking divorce off the table. And that can work sometimes. And it worked like magic for us. Thank you.
Thank you. We've been so much fun. And this poem is like, it's actually opens like long ways whenever you see it. It's amazing. So next we're going to move on to Zoom again. We have Dante Miller, who's tuning in from the USA.
This is, it isn't inevitable, just likely. Pack up the philosophies, honey, bolt the art. Cue the pandemonium, darling. Atlantis is sinking. The four winds have all been shuttered. The stars all popped and fizzled into black. Out waltz gods and monsters, far beyond the deadly arc of mortal dread. In rush the waters, to kiss the temple fires cold, to smother the fields, to seep under your door, under your eyelids, into your lungs. The home you knew will be drowned silent, a tomb where only the orca might sing. So take a pinch of salt for luck, my dear. Wrap your fragile love in something soft and run.
Thank you, Dante. Next up, we have Gabrielle Deacon coming into Zoom from Spain. Yeah.
My poem is called In Praise of Liminality. The sweet spot is just beforehand, that in between space, when the lift of the tide heralds the orgasm, which never matches its anticipated promise. The cycle of desire requires constant renewal. It's the 5-year-old who turns 6 tomorrow, who imagines that 6 is different and miraculous. So let us savor the hours before the wedding. The suit is on the hanger. The corks are in the bottles. Listen. This is the language of perfection, when we hear as God does. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Gabrielle. Next up, we have Mandy Beatty from Scotland.
BT.
BT was right the first time.
Hi, everyone. Better put the glasses on. There's an epigraph by William Shakespeare first. Give sorrow words, the grief that does not speak, knits up the o'erwrought heart and bids it break. And this poem is called Then There Was Only One Fatal Heartbeat, and it's about my late twin. On the ashes of thalidomide, a red flag flies the mizzen half-mast, but Christina only plays dress-up in our body's archive. At the close of her trimester, I cannot help but imagine, in womb's grave leavening, a double helix of shadow dimple creases and mirror images of gilt's bevel edges on her rainbow bridge. Each twin placental air and aria, a solo obligato, yet sweet peas, larkspur, delphiniums still bud, blossom. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mandy. Can I check again now if Phoebe Colby has joined us since? Or she hasn't, okay. And we had David W. Evans who couldn't make it either, so round of applause for those two who couldn't be here. Okay, so now we can open up a bit more. So if you have a poem that's in the anthology here, or if you want to read someone else's poem from it, that's fine too. Just going to open it up for people to come up. Yeah. So we've got Cedric up first. Did you have a question?
Yes.
Oh, you have a question. Okay.
Does it have to be from last year? Or can it be
I think from this volume. It's got to be from this volume.
You're in there, Cedric.
Thought you'd read somebody else's.
You can do a few. That's for the open mic. That's. Yeah. Look, I might get it started. Look, I have a poem of my own in there, which I'm very happy with. It's about that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Have you seen it? You've got to see it. Yeah, it's won. I think it won 7 Oscars. Is it? I think that's the most a film has ever won in anything. So the words that night for me were Slayer, Revolution, Plantain, Shampoo, and Fizz. Everything, everywhere, all at once. The universe conspires to make me feel single when I see a love heart-shaped pizza in Lidl's. A revolution is happening in my heart. Maybe it's angina. No more to our Hollywood love. I meet you in all of our lives. Two triads, a secret affair. I laugh and slap your black leather jacket, setting off your gun. The bullet pierces through the portal, penetrates our medieval hut, dings off the metal tin, ricochets into our Rastafari days, straight through your plantain, intercepts our gothic graveyard makeout session, breaks the radio playing Slayer, our black lipstick smears. Our worlds turn into a blur that looks like everything on a bagel. Our lives, like that. Our lives fizz through the center, volcanic eruption, all of our futures, all of our pasts, endings, beginnings. The bullet cracks the glass of the love heart-shaped pizza. I'm unfazed. I've seen stranger things in littles. I move along, filling my cart with groceries, forgetting that in this universe, I don't need shampoo. Thank you. So that's going to get everyone rolling. Anyone else want to?
We've got
Yeah.
a few people on Zoom.
A few people from Zoom, they're eager, and you got to match their energy.
Moira Stevens.
Moira Stevens, first on the list. Let's go, Moira.
Right, okay. All right, so this one's called White Feathers. The words were angel, offshore, harbour, laugh, and seagulls. White feathers torn from angel wings, God's laugh turned to mundane things. We seagulls soar across the sky, screeching call and piercing cry. Polluted harbour where rubbish floats, white feathers soar o'er offshore boats. You call us vermin of the air, raise your fists, but we don't care. Sandwich clenched in chubby hand, cornet fallen on the sand. We follow ships across the bay, dive for the fish they throw away. What you discard or seek to keep, we'll take whate'er we want to eat. White feathers ours, the angels heard. White feathers ours, we devil birds.
Any more Zoomers? No? Anyone in the room? Okay, we've got Mags Creedon.
It's a Cedric to read you also. I think this one, I can't say the words of it. It was breathe, airplane, and BOLX, and formaldehyde and heaven. We always try to play around with words, so it reminded me of all these different pickled people. So, pickled. There are so many confitures, so many sweet preserves. Pickled in post-festive excess, encased fruitcake in this flak jacket, plum jammed with pudding, fodder for the Lippo kings. 2. Get used to the smells of formaldehyde, pickled shapes, marinate in time, where once they breathed boundless, endless heaven, living forever. Alas, callow youth, paper airplane climb, project their shapes in time, capsule names in the name of anatomy, recast future present for unskilled hands to practice, pickle people. Cryonics, iced vanity, frozen in vain hope, dream of their last lost face, awake to future decades, irreverent and alien. Bo locks the door, applies one layer more to fading beauty. Getting old sucks, Cher said. Character lines desiccate, delineate. Madame Beau recites, I am a unique confiture. I am a very rare preserve, aged to special vintage. lifelines, love lines, the riches that I richly deserve. That's it.
Thanks, Mags. And I actually want to give a shout out to Mags. You'll find these drawings in the book. They are all done by the one and only Mags. Got Ryan. Okay.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. So the words were pajamas, warning, lights, dust, and cat. And some Loki in the room shouted out, refulgent. So as an extra challenge, so there we go. This is called Torrid Roulette. Into the stream of shattered rock and ubiquitous dust our planet careers with joyous disregard. Lights flare, swarms of cat eyes flash warning. Bright, hot, hazard, beware! Don't cross the path of more bulky beasts lurking in the night, lest we find ourselves under the smiting paw of those threatening brutes. We stand and watch, wishing, agog, a civilization in pajamas under the Catherine wheel display of flickering popcorn bursting into sensuous spectacle, delighting in the refulgent dance of dust and rock, forgetting the inexorable pull of gravity and extinction.
What does refulgent mean?
I can't remember.
I
think it must be bright. Bright, possibly. So I'm gonna have to give this back now.
No.
Is it like Scrabble?
Disqualified. Campbell? Yeah. We got Pam Campbell on Zoom.
Okay. Mine are small, so I'm going to do maybe 2 or maybe 3 back time. The words were sandwich, delightful, building, change, and carpenter. Uvalde, Texas. 19 children, 4th grade veterans, learned to build a delightful story sandwich. Bread on the plate, butter on the bread, lettuce on the butter, tomato on the lettuce, meat on the tomato, bread on the meat. But on May 24th, 2022, the story changed. 2 teachers first heard a chilling daytime goodnight from a new carpenter of the plot who bulleted them and the children from butter on the bread. And then the words scrumptious, ghost, catkin, alchemy, and desire. Tansy, green-eyed catkin mine, or catechin as the Dutch say, transforms desire, pulling its ghostly alchemy, and leaps high in the air, paws stretched wide in glorious, scrumptious flight. And then my last one is the words were drones, sleigh, viscous, bread, and growth. Didgeridoo drones, trees creak, wings flap, viscous growth, bread snowfall. Sleigh runners cut a new dream time. Thank you.
Thanks a million, Pam. And we got anyone in the room? We got Sue Blue.
Glasses on, glasses off. Thanks very much. So I call this Night of Feeling Foreign. With swollen tongue I speak through clotted teeth, like Botox in my eardrums takes out all vibes to hear. Though feet stomp rhythms into damp grass and drums beat the dance, melodies of flute and sax caress, take flight and coil, weaving through the spine. I feel the music flow, body resounding in tune. The mind cannot decipher tongue-twisting meanings behind words with no key to their store of lingo history, can only see 2D. The image portrayed in their sound cannot bridge the gap for missing roots still. Genetic echo reverberates through poetic body. Despite taking hold, I remain foreign.
Okay, we have Sapongo coming in from Zoom.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Easter. If you celebrate, if you don't, happy holidays. I hope your weekend was great. So I'll read two poems. So the first one is titled Preacher. The words were Angel, Offshore, Harbor, Laugh, Seagulls. His laugh sent the seagulls flapping towards the harbor island as the yacht bobbed above the salty waters of the Bahamas. He'd done it. All his dreams were accomplished. Gullible people they are. He smiled, knowing his offshore account was staked for generations. My blood will celebrate me till infinity. Gullible people they are, as he imagined his congregants waiting for the angel of fortune. The second poem is called The Government Holiday. The words were teeth, detention, decompression, instrument, perpendicular. Mr. Truth will be placed on remand until the government is back from holiday. 10 years he spent in detention. His teeth forced to remind him of that slimy, sticky porridge they called food. Knowing well its control dressed as goodwill and inclusive governance, an instrument shoving more fat down the pig's mouth. Orwell taught well. His words like water, easy to ingest, easier to decompress. Now, Google, please remind me what perpendicular means. Thanks, dude. Okay, for that last line, writing political poetry is easy. Just make sure your rhymes are perpendicular and your stanzas are left-leaning or right-leaning.
Yes, left-leaning or right-leaning. We got any other readers? Got Rosemary on Zoom? Yeah, we'll go with Rosemary on Zoom. Okay. Okay, there's a bit of noise in the room. I think you might be on mute, Rosemary.
Hello, I've managed to unmute myself.
No worries.
I've managed to unmute myself. This is the poem from this time last year. And the words were nocturnal, beans, echo, intrusive, and liminal. And the poem is called Beans. If you could go on through, it would be better or not so bad. But no, you're held up between here as you used to know it and nowhere, where you don't need to, it won't matter. The liminal oppresses you with intrusive, or you think they are, thoughts of death, if you could tell what that is. Not calls even, echoes of what's done already, and you have to come back to life, which is nocturnal visits to the toilet and sleeping in the daytime, when we'll ask again if you're okay, and you'll say yes. Yes, I am, only I'm not full of beans.
Thanks, Rosemary. Got any people in the room? Wanna do a reading?
Can we read it if we forgot the line?
Is it in the book?
No, it's not because I forgot.
Oh, you forgot to submit it. No. If it's not in print, we can't do it. We got Catherine Ronan.
It's a month early, but we'll have Celtic summer anyway. Is Bhéal and I pay my angel with the first lift of dew from fairy hosts. The light god Lou treats the buds to soft kisses, moist with promise. Leaves rebirth and children leave, and I cowlick every curl home as the mirror forgets my name. In the month of May, I still climb the hill of Ishnok to light the biggest fire ever and wash my face in new summer.
Thanks so much, Catherine. And again, actually, you don't have to read your own one if you don't want to. If you want to read someone else's, have at it. If you don't have one in there or you don't want to read your own one.
I could read Colin Scully's one.
Ben Burns, okay.
I'm going to read Colin Scully's piece in the 5 words, and the words were breathe, airplane, bollocks, formaldehyde, and heaven. January in boarding school, 1982. The formaldehydes froze in the glass jars on the top shelf of the old school lab. Our breath crackled on exhalation. The tips of our toes clinked against each other. We fired paper airplanes lathered with icicled spit. Outside, 2 priests in soutanes shoveled frosted coal into the school boiler. Science class started late. Father Talbot arrived with rosy cheeks and mittened hands. My cold fingers left a beaker full to the parquet floor. I shouted out, "Bollocks!" The hurley was retrieved, and I received 5 slugs across the arse. Then 5 swipes of the leather to the palms of my hands. I sat back in my seat contented, glowing in the warmth imparted by the heaven-sent punishment.
Is the poem you're going to read, Constantine, in the anthology? Open mic, we'll talk about the open mic in a bit. Yeah, not at that yet. Yeah, we got Cedric. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to read mine, but I'm afraid I'm going to step on somebody's toes, so I'll go with mine then. The words were breathe, airplane, bollocks, formaldehyde, and heaven, like rain. Aloft. This is a special day, you know, the kind to leave an impression the moment you open your eyes. You barely slept in excitement, so you already float. The family is in a frenzy, so no one pays attention to the bags under your lids. And you float. The car is open, the luggages are loaded, the chain formed by working ants that we are, busy under the clear sky of winter. In effort, you breathe out and your mind wanders off. Like that cloud, it floats. Mom is a bit stressed. Dad says she's in no bollocks mode. But we won't repeat it to her. He also said her nagging would be a real pain on the trip to the station. I doze off and on, cradled by the radio and its old tunes. Some melody that floats. It feels like heaven, but nothing like traveling in an airplane. My sister will tuck me in the craftsman engine will sing a mechanical lullaby. There is a lady sitting on the seat in front of mine, wearing this white fur coat that fits her so well. She looks like an angel that reeks of death, a formaldehyde, smelling of formaldehyde. When I woke up, she was gone, but the scent, it still floats.
You're obsessed with no bollocks mode. Just wanted to read someone else's poem. Oh, we've got Sigurlin, okay, or Roxanne.
You're in the few that actually can pronounce it, so it's fine. I'm gonna represent Shona Lillich. So it was a Slayer Revolution Plantain Shampoo and Fizz, entitled "The most monumental thing that has ever happened to me is finding Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I was 10 years old, angry and bold, in revolt of the gender I was assigned. When I saw this girl, feminine, yet kicking and fighting, absolutely dominating, it was a revelation in my kind. Girls could be more than kind, delicate and floral, as shampoo bottles would have you believe. The fizz of feminism rose within me like pink rosé. To this day, watching Buffy is my favorite thing to do. It's my comfort blanket. Some people love to skate, some love to eat fried plantains, but I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Merci beaucoup, Sigurlin. Anyone else wanted to? No? Anyone on Zoom?
No, seems done. Oh, it's Matt Mooney.
Mooney's jumping in. Okay. I think you're on mute there, Matt. If you want to, still on mute.
Yep, fine.
You're good to go now. Yeah.
This poem is called Summer Fashion Show, and the words were angel, leaves, lift, cowlick, and moist. Has an angel been about to lift our eyes to the lower skies, these moist days in early May, where treetops have grown crown toppers made of leaves of many shades of green, smoothies every side shading us, cowlicked foliage for a festive season, a fine display of nature's wondrous ways, all dressed up for another summer fashion show.
Thanks so much, Matt. Okay. I think we might be, if anyone else wants to read now, is your chance. No, I think we might be at the break point. So am I missing something? What's the break point? We're at breaking point. Can I have, if I don't have a cigarette in a minute? So I'm going to put the open mic list up here. Once again, the only real rule is that you don't read your own poetry, you read one by someone else. I think it'd be funny if you put down the name of the poet. Like, can I have Sylvia Plath? Can I have Michael? You know, if you want. Were you trying to say something to me, Catherine? Oh yeah. So I'm going to leave that up here. So
There's a lady in Greece who needs to go first.
There's a lady in Greece who has to go first. Yeah. Okay. Well, look, just maybe once again, can we have a big round of applause for all of our winners? to Glenn Matthews, Alison McCrossan, and then David Ross Linklater, and our shortlisted poets as well. So we'll see you after the break, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Do we have time for that? Yeah, okay, 10, 15 minutes. Okay, cheers.
Woo!
It's actually a pleasure hearing your creativity work. It feels like it's, well, the whole idea of making a fake university sounds so real. It is real. My name's Philip, by the way. It's a pleasure listening to you.
You really can check this out.
It's so
So the librarian took it in, yes.
Can I take a picture?
Oh, yeah?
This is working.
He really was a G.I. Joe dog.
It's so real.
Yeah.
Oh,
good.
Name, no. Hemingway. Yes. Was a very best. Yes. For who rings the bell? Yes. What's his name?
Whose name you got?
It's a poet that I am reading now. He's brilliant. Thank you. Thanks. 6 poems. 2 for my desire.
How long are these? I know you'll circle back to something so sensitive at the end. Is that very well? Thank you very much. They're real. Make sure you get my own camera. I know the Celtic paragraph, so I get the little book that is on our site. And you get it done in 4 minutes.
We've only been here just a very short time.
When did you arrive?
It's a little bit of a blur.
Oh, because it's jet lagged, I bet you. Yeah, I understand.
The 9th, I guess.
Mara, can you hear me? Hear me?
You enjoying your visit?
It just looks amazing.
Yeah, can you hear me? There you go. Steve, I love your poem. It'll be hard for us to talk, I know, but I enjoyed your poems.
Thank you. Mine also really dark. It's
Mine is dark. Am I?
I love yours. I could just listen to it once for so long.
It's hard to hear. It's like we're in the pub, but we're not able to talk.
See you the next night.
Oh, one day I'll be every person.
I think it might be.
Yeah. Have to go together.
Yeah. I'll make it.
Say that again.
Hop across the Irish Sea, me.
That was a great poem.
Thank you.
For me.
I'd better go. I've got my niece visiting, and we're going pottery painting tomorrow morning early.
Okay, see you next time.
Margaret, how are you?
I'm good, and
Are you going to give it a go?
I am.
Do. Yeah. All right.
Hi, say go. I'm good. Why are they going over? Open mic, go I know.
Oh, Victor Hugo's on the list.
Of course.
We have some famous names on that list. It's an all-star open mic. Hemingway, Victor Hugo, John Donne, Walt Whitman.
I was glad we could do it. I mean, yeah, amazing. Yeah, he couldn't make it tonight. He had a dinner here to go to. Couldn't make it. He was meant to be able to do it, but he couldn't do it. It's lovely that sure, you're meant to come to me, you're creating all this, you know. I'm just going to stay on actually, otherwise.
She's actually very, very gifted. She's writer, she's in for song.
She's a singer or?
She's a farmer. During COVID, she turned up in the National Gallery performing for TNG.
I have heard of her name. It's K-A-R-A-N. Go on.
Oh, look!
You're running away?
Yeah.
No.
I was playing earlier and had 6 I'm out all day. I'm ready for the couch. I'm really hungry, so I didn't realize.
What's your name? If you properly just
So
it's really good. Did you make it? Yeah, I'm well impressed. Did you Irish?
I need respect.
14, 16.
After 15-year-old. It's like we turn 50. Brilliant.
Yes.
But you're not American. The other ones, like, can never get in. It's always been too busy. And I've always left it there. To get in the door.
Glad to get back in there. I mean, we're always trying to see if you come in, there isn't any, you know, I usually have more. Because you're not the usual to Rosie said she enjoyed your gift. I was with some very good friends and see Banjo talking to UCC and Sean Banjo, and we went down to the area. And then I came to the Chennai, you were gone, and the rest of them were.
And then you were down somewhere Saturday, going back from somewhere. She was going back from Cape Deer or Sheriff.
Yeah, I was nowhere, no.
Okay, she was. We played the courthouse Saturday, it was amazing. She said, no, we'll come back to it. You weren't involved in that.
Sorting out tonight, really.
You must have a huge amount of recording.
We do? Yeah. Massive, yeah. And like MP3s were 1,400 now. Videos were over 1,000. 16 years. Well, they're all on YouTube and they're there. It's good to have the archive. You can go back if you want to. I need that too. They're €5 each.
No cash. I don't cash. I get next time.
So do with you. It was €5 next time.
Okay, I put a €5 in the bucket earlier. That was the only €5. Sorry.
Well, I do try, yeah. I like it to be nice. I mean, Frank Harry's very nice to me and long yeah, but he was very generous, so I just try and do that. I wasn't great at teaching at the start, to be honest. Kind of complete
I just saw something interesting. I just saw something interesting.
Everything, like there's a university in Paris where she's, martial artist, and it's like kind of all the world is like one, and it's very
night, he says, I found Belfast very difficult. And he said his father had
That's all we know that we've so far. I need to go first. And then everybody else
And he wants to promote that I'll try and by someone else.
We'll be like, oh, these are 4 of my new birds. We'll pick them up.
Okay, so Alexandra first, Catherine Ronan, Pam Campbell, then Constance. Yeah, okay. Sorry there. Oh, did you want to go on as well? Roseanne Watt. Scat. Okay, everyone, we're going to start getting we're going to start kicking off in a minute. We're going to go full bollocks mode. So if you want to take your seats and simmer on down. We have some ghosts in the room tonight. A lot of ghosts, a lot of dead people on this list. Oh, we got even more joining. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna jump onto Zoom, everyone. Our first poet for the evening is Alexandra from Greece. She's going to do a poem by someone else. Oh, isn't that we're all doing a poem by another author?
Oh dear.
It's all right. You can do.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I really wasn't aware.
No problem. Jump, fire away. Go ahead.
Thank you, but I held out until 1 a.m. So. Flying 15. Keep up with that turquoise lover, so full of love and kindness. Before doubt compromises every fleshed out interaction. Inviolable, honey sweetened utopias. Sinking in a black swamp of remorse. Leeches of greed sucking on lust and shame. Enduring through our biggest mistakes. Emerging into our new biggest improvements. Into new consummations of refined affection. Earth blooming with polychroming cultivating virtues. Olive branch writes, turquoising all plentiful harvests. Keep up with that cleansing, so salving for each wound. Before pus infests every vital feeling and thought, keeping soft every hardened organ. Our hearts tormented by dark red memories, collapsing at the gates of our own perdition, crawling through our narrow bloodied trenches, discovering new veins of replenishment, new streams of purification, untainted rivers gushing ahead boundlessly, their crested sky showers cleansing all defilement. Keep up with that life so deeply longed for, before it kneels at the precipice of its own abyss, keeping zoetic every favourable breeze, burning in the eternal chaos of our own unquenchable inferno. Aspirations melting, courage faltering, glowing through our own embers, bursting into new, cleaner flames of rejuvenation, singing new songs, continuing beyond mortal existence. Clear transcendent winds blowing reinforcingly to the ends of the vast earth. Mastery of life, surpassing all adversity. Keep up with our oracle, so devotedly worshipped, before it fades at the end of the nebulous sky. Keeping alight the torch of insight. Our philosophies crucified by false innocence, hiding behind false gods, thrusting through ugly, thorny dogmas, taming new, wild wisdoms, new unchained channels of magnificent revelations, lightning-eyed eagles ceaselessly circling. Oracles as rays resurrecting all spiritual forces. Hurry, keep up with those flights, so brave and so free, before they explode in the anguish of the universe, keeping high the grace of this sky blue sphere. Thank you.
Thanks a million, Alexandra. Next up, we have Catherine Rowland.
I'm reading from The Cloud Architect by Matthew Keaton. A simple twist of fate. It seemed as though I were simply wading into the midnight duck pond. Green moss growing round my feet, fish around my thighs. But in actual fact, and I didn't know it yet, this was an elaborate courtship ritual, which you laughed at, but remembered some days later, when the time came to declare an interest after a series of chance encounters. A supermarket, a party, a night class, all leading up to and back to midnight, and a liquid pool of darkness, swirling like a simple twist of fate.
Beautiful, thanks, Catherine. Next up, can we have Pam Campbell on on Zoom.
Okay. I'm going to be reading a poem by Denton Loving. It's from the same spot of earth that I'm from. And the title of this poem is My Mother is the Green Mountains. My mother is the Green Mountains grinding against the horizon. She built the wall at the end of the world. She is the pilgrim's narrow path cut through violet fields of wildflowers. My mother is the Green Mountains, discharging many winged congregations from her ancient rocky arms. The wall at the end of the world is where we watch the zigzagging lights of fireflies meld into distant stars. My mother is the Green Mountains, afflicted by invisible danger, riding on the wings of mosquitoes to the wall at the end of the world. She is everyone I love, no longer with me. She is in a dream that can't be recaptured. My mother is the Green Mountains, the wall at the end of the world.
And next up, can we have Ernest Hemingway?
Welcome back. Welcome back.
This short poem is attributed to Ernest Hemingway, but there's controversy about who's the real author. For sale. Baby shoes. Never worn.
And thanks very much, JJF. So next, can we have Constantine, who will do a poem, one poem by another author. Where's Constantine? Il est parti. Il est parti. Bon, d'accord. I'm just jumping into French. I'm using myself. Can we have Evelyn Duvney Connell? Welcome, Evelyn.
Thank you. So this is just an extract of the Lament of Evelyn Daphne Connell, this beautiful poet that I have found through the book called A Ghost in the Truth by Doreen Griofa. If you haven't read it yet, do it because it's beautiful. And apparently the life of these beautiful, great poets in Ireland, it's still unknown. There are some voices, but let's say there is not a deep understanding of her life. But she's just beautiful, beautiful poet. So I am going to read this just a short lament about the death of her husband. My friend and my lamb, don't you believe them, nor the scandal you heard, nor the jealous man's gossip, that it's sleeping I went. It was no heavy slumber, but your babies so troubled, and all of them needing to be settled in peace. People of my heart, what woman in Ireland from setting of sun could stretch out beside him and bear him 3 sucklings and not run wild, losing heart or Liger, who lies here vanquished since yesterday morning, long loss, bitter grief. I was not by your side when the bullet was fired, so my right side could take it, or the edge of my shift till I freed you to the hills, my fine-handed horseman. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio. Next up, can we have Victor Hugo?
It's Hugo, by the way. That's easy. I'm actually gonna read two. Because he's to blame for me writing, and he's to blame for my depression because he's just so intense in everything that he wrote. So, demain, dès l'aube, à l'heure où blanchit la campagne, je partirai. Vois-tu, je sais que tu m'attends. J'irai par la forêt, j'irai par la montagne. Je ne puis demeurer loin de toi plus longtemps. Je marcherai, les yeux fixés sur mes pensées, sans rien voir au dehors, sans entendre aucun bruit. Seul, inconnu, le dos courbé, les mains croisées, triste, et le jour pour moi sera comme la nuit. Je ne regarderai ni l'or du soir qui tombe, ni les voiles au loin descendant vers Harfleur, et quand j'arriverai, je mettrai sur ta tombe un bouquet de houverts et de bruyères en fleurs. And if you want the English translation, Catherine is actually going to read it soon. Not tonight though. And so this one was written after for the anniversary of his daughter Léopoldine. And this one is called Après l'hiver, so after winter, and because we are in spring, just figured to end on a beautiful note. Tout revit, ma bien-aimée. Le ciel gris perd sa pâleur. Quand la terre est embaumée, le cœur de l'homme est meilleur. En haut, d'où l'amour ruisselle, en bas, où meurt la douleur. La même immense étincelle allume l'astre et la fleur. L'hiver fuit, saison d'alarme, noir avril mystérieux, où l'âpre sève des larmes coule et du cœur monte aux yeux. Ô douce désuétude de souffrir et de pleurer, veux-tu dans la solitude nous mettre à nous adorer? La branche au soleil se dort et penche pour l'abriter. Ces boutons qui vont éclore sur l'oiseau qui va chanter. L'aurore où nous nous aimâmes semble renaître à nos yeux, et mai sourit dans nos âmes comme il sourit dans les cieux. On entend rire, on voit luire tous les êtres tour à tour. La nuit, les astres bruire, et les abeilles le jour. Et partout nos regards lisent, et dans l'herbe et dans les nids, de petites voix nous disent, les aimants sont les bénis. L'air enivre, tu reposes à mon cou tes bras vainqueurs, sur les rosiers que de roses, que de soupirs dans nos cœurs. Comme l'aube tu me charmes, ta bouche et tes yeux chéris ont, quand tu pleures, ces larmes et ces perles quand tu ris. La nature, sœur jumelle d'Ève et d'Adam et du jour, nous aime, nous berce et mêle son mystère à notre amour. Il suffit que tu paraisses pour que le ciel t'adorant te contemple et nos caresses, toute l'ombre nous les rend. Clarté et parfum nous-mêmes, nous baignons nos cœurs heureux dans les effluves suprêmes des éléments amoureux. Et, sans qu'un souci t'oppresse, sans que ce soit mon tourment, j'ai l'étoile pour maîtresse, le soleil est ton amant. Et nous donnons notre fièvre aux fleurs où nous appuyons nos bouches et notre lèvre sans le baiser des rayons.
Merci Victor Hugo. Ça a été génial. Okay. Next up, can we please have John Donn? Or John Donn.
I do not look too bad for a man of 450. And so glad I am to be among such rostering fellows tonight. I think I should impart upon you some of my mean verse for your verisimilitude. So this mean piece of verse is a clepeth, the Elegy the Fifth. Here, take my picture, though I bid farewell. Thine in my heart, where my soul dwells, shall dwell. 'Tis like me now, but I dead 'twill be more. When we are shadows both, than 'twas before, when weather-beaten I came back, my hand perhaps with rude oars torn, or sunbeams tanned, my face and breast of haircloth, and my head with care's rash sudden hoarseness o'erpressed, my body a sack of bones broken within, and powder blue stains scattered on my skin. If rival fools tax thee to have loved a man so foul and coarse, ah, I have seen them. They shall say what I was, and thou shalt say, do his hurts reach me? Doth my worth decay? Or do they reach his judging mind, that he should now love less what he did love to see? That which in him was fair and delicate was but the milk which in love's childish state did nurse it, who now in grown strong enough to feed on that which to disused tastes seem tough.
Great to see you around again, John Donn. Felt like 400 years, all right. Next, can we have contemporary, wonderful genius, Phil Spillane.
I'm not that old.
Yes.
Yes. This is by a real contemporary genius. This is by my friend Gabriella Di Casso. This is translated. We kind of worked out for the last 5 years. She's been sending me translated poems when she doesn't have to. I always feel guilty that she has to translate them as soon as she writes them. And I can't do Portuguese, so she's an incredible poet, and she released her newest collection there recently. It's beautiful, beautiful cover. But anyway, the poem. I'm excused if I make a mistake. The dog. There is a dog. There is a dog in the middle of the road, and the dog keeps me company every day. By the end of the afternoon, when the flowers west in the flower beds, and when the birds retract to the pine woods, I lay my hand in my bony spine of the dog, and I take it peacefully to a walk. I take it to the pubs and the cafes of the town. I take it to the parks, but this dog doesn't chase butterflies. I take it by an invisible leash tied around my neck. At night, by the sea, the dog and I sit side by side, our eyes gazing the cape out to the cape, watching the violet waves that clash against the harbour. There is a black dog in the middle of the road, and in the end of the road, there's my house. Whenever I have visitors, the dog peeks among the gates, his red gaze peers among the stones, and his acidic breath resembles a rotten Rocco. By the end of the dinner, I give him the remains from the table.
the dog eats, but it languishes, drinks, and withers. And that's why I take it in my arms many times, whenever I leave from my house and go into the town. The man in the tobacco shop knows me well. He knows my steps and my shadow. Whenever I arrive, he lends me a newspaper and a cigarette, and drops some liquor in my coffee. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? I take out some dirty coins from my pocket and give the coins to the man with the mortified hands, ripped hands, gleaming in blood. It's the dog, I say. Sometimes I like care dealing with the creature. But sir, it appears your dog has no teeth. There is a black dog in the middle of the road. That dog waits for me every day in passageways. And sometimes I've seen my own face drowned in ruinous of its eyes, and I can't tell any more who's the man, who's the black dog in the middle of the road. Thanks for listening. Thanks very much, Phil. And next up, we have Walt Whitman.
Okay, so I like this poem because it's kind of about how academia can't capture the true essence of something, and how taxonomy is probably a plague in our consciousness. And my son's about to do the Leaving Cert, so I have a lot of sympathy. Yeah. So, when I heard the learned astronomer, when the proofs, the figures were ranged in columns before me, when I was shown the charts and diagrams to add, divide, and measure them, when I, sitting, heard the astronomer where he lectured with much applause in the lecture room, how soon and accountable I became tired and sick, till rising and gliding out, I wandered off by myself in the mystical, moist night air, and from time to time looked up in perfect silence at the stars.
Lovely. Thanks, Ryan. Okay, I think we should jump onto Zoom a little.
Amy Barry, actually.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused now with my. So next on the list is Matt Mooney.
Amy Barry.
We have Amy Berry.
Yeah, here comes Amy Barry's poem. From her book, just launched, Flirting with Tigers, published by Daedalus Press. Just new off the press now, by Amy Barry from Athlone and Malaysia. And a poem that I've selected from her collection, her new collection, is Prisoner 46664, Robben Island, for Mandela. I had a chance to return to where I had spent 18 years in captivity, a 7 by 9 foot room. I could walk the length of my cell in 3 paces. Where I had missed births and funerals, weddings and anniversaries. I wanted to reach those I loved, but many had gone. Voices overlapped, but thoughts ran like a clear stream over rough sediment. And I ask myself, what more can you do but pray and hope? Pray and hope. Here, I recalled a warden's first words. This is where you will die.
Thank you, Matt. Okay, stay on Zoom and check if Kieran McCartan wanted to.
Lee Poe. Lee Poe.
Lee Poe, everyone.
He's got very native there. Look at that.
Oh, I think Kieran needs Lee Poe. Oh.
Oh yeah.
You're grand then.
What's the crack?
Happy birthday.
Lisbon.
What's the story? I'm gonna read. I got this book in Glasgow when I was over there at Christmas time, and it's the Visions of Lee Tai Po, and he's a famous Chinese poet, and it's called Banished Immortal, and I'm going to read a few poems from it because they're quite short. On Dragon Hill. Drunk on Dragon Hill tonight, the banished immortal, great white, turns among yellow flowers, his smile wide as his hat sails away on the wind and he dances away in the moonlight. Saying goodbye in a Chinling wine shop. Spring winds perfume the shop with heavy blooming catkins. A girl from Wu pours out wine and encourages more drinking with friends from the city. I come to toast and say goodbye. About to part, I point them toward the great East Shirling River. Can any river possibly flow beyond the love of friends? Autumn River Song. The moon shimmers in the green water, white herons fly through the moonlight. The young man hears a girl gathering watering chestnuts. Into the night singing, they paddle home together. And we're going to read one more. And it's called Going to Visit a Taoist Recluse on Heaven's Mountain, only to find him gone. Dogs bark where the river sings and peach blossoms grow heavy with rain. Deer wander through woods so deep I cannot hear the noon bell near the river. Bamboo grows thick in the blue-green mists where the river plunges from the summit. With no one here to tell me where you've gone, I linger pining in the forest. Thank you.
Beautiful, thanks, Kieran. Are you in Portugal right now?
Yeah.
It's lovely to see you. Thanks so much for jumping on.
Nice to see you. Great to hear. Another year. Fair play. Happy days. Congratulations to Paul. Congratulations to everyone.
Okay, jumping on. Okay, so we've got a real person in the room now. We've got Rolf Parker Houghton, please.
And thank you, Rosalind, for the use of your phone. So I've loved this poem since shortly after I discovered my father's poetry collection, which was in a closet. and shortly after I broke my nose. So this is Fizog by Carl Sandburg. Fizog, this face you got, this here Fizog you carry around, you never picked it out for yourself at all, did you? This here Fizog, somebody handed it to you, am I right? Somebody said, here's yours, now go see what you can do with it. Somebody slipped it to you and was like a package marked, no goods exchanged after being taken away. This face you got.
Some delivery. Well done. Great poem. Okay, next up, I don't know, so we've Carl Sandburg.
Oh, that was Carl.
Oh, okay. It's just his name is directly.
Oh, but if Carl's up again.
Okay, thanks very much, Carl Sandburg. Next up, can we have Seamus Harrington?
Thanks, Jim. This is by E. Cummings. May I feel, said he. May I feel, said he. I'll squeal, said she. Just once, said he. It's fun, said she. May I touch, said he. How much, said she. A lot, said he. Why not, said she. Let's go, said he. Not too far, said she. What's too far, said he. Where you are, said she. May I stay, said he. Which way, said she. Like this, said he. If you kiss, said she. May I move, said he. Is it love, said she. If you're willing, said he. But you're killing, said she. But it's life, said he. But your wife, said she. No, said he. Oh, said she. Tip top, said he. Don't stop, said she. Oh no, said he. Go slow, said she. Come, said he. Said she. You're divine, said he. You're mine, said she.
Thanks so much, Seamus. It was gas.
It breeds a new meaning to E. Cummings.
I was thinking it, but I wasn't going to go there. No. Okay. Can Margaret O'Regan come?
I love it, Jim. What I'm going to read is the lyrics of a song, and it's called "Everyone Should Have a Home." It was written by Martin Leahy, Leahy, and he travels from Cork to Dublin every single Thursday, and he sings it outside the Dáil. Now, also, his anniversary is coming up the first week in May, so the first Thursday in May. He'll have been doing it for a whole year. He goes up every single Thursday. So it's called "Everyone Should Have a Home." Some people's misery, other people's gain, enrich the rich and make them richer. They see property as opportunity, a business that will make the sickness sicker. If they build too many houses,
it'll drive down the price. Cold economics to them. No will to address it, because it's not in their interest. We've seen it time and time again. Everyone should have a home. In this world, in this life, a basic human right, a dignified place you call your own. Safe and warm where you belong, everyone should have a home. Housing developers hung up on greed, hungry vultures swooping from the sky, crucifying rents on the increase. Shamefully, they bleed the people dry. All the vacant properties, we see them in our towns. Sign the papers, take down the boards. A home is not a hotel. A home is not a hostel. A home is not a cardboard box on the side of the road. We've got landlords in government who vote and legislate in favour of investments they control. Our leaders, they facilitate and then wave away the emergency created at their door. The moneyed minds get richer and the poor just fade into hovels and homes they can't afford. Dystopian evictions, ruthless repossessions, a wealthy country's people in a stranglehold. Everyone should have a home. In this world, in this life, a basic human right, a dignified place you call your own. Everyone should have a home. Safe and warm where you belong. Everyone should have a home. That was a challenge set up by Victoria Keating and Anya Gorman on behalf of Martin Leahy, and I'm passing on the challenge to every person in this room, all the poets, all the musicians, and everyone on Zoom to do their own version of the chorus in any genre they like and any style they like. You'll be amazed at the different ones that are up on Facebook and posted on YouTube. They're amazing, all the different versions, and it gets the message home because the eviction ban has been lifted and the cost of living campaign is very busy trying to get that reversed.
Thanks a million, Margaret. Okay, so next up, can we have John Heath?
This is a poem I wrote in 1818 to my cat, who was old at the time and is now very old. Cat, who hast passed thy grand climacteric, how many mice and rats hast in thy days destroyed? How many titbits stolen? Gaze with those bright, languid segments green, and prick those velvet ears, but prithee, do not stick thy latent talons in me, and upraise thy gentle meow. And tell me all thy phrase of fish and mice and rats and tender chick. Nay, look not down, nor lick thy dainty wrists, for all the wheezy asthma, and for all thy tail's tip is nicked off. And though the fists of many a maid have given thee many a mole, still is that fur as soft as when the lists in youth thou enteredst on glass-bottled wall.
Beautiful, John Keith. Keep it up. You're actually pretty good at it. I think you should keep at the right. Okay, and next up we have Paul Casey.
Oh my god! Yes, I'm exercising my right to be a nepotistic whore. As time capsules sleepwalk through catastrophe by Paul Casey. My great-great-great-grandparents eked out lives, delicate as leaf smoke when the first steam locomotive lugged its heavy load of carbon. Little did they know. When my great-great-grandparents nestled their babies tight on the sunlit side of famine, Foucault devised the gyroscope now found in missiles and drones. Little did they know. My great-grandparents, who tasted sweet, righteous revolution, walked miles as the first motor cars and aeroplanes combusted, vaporized their cheap diets of gasoline. Little did they know. I am blessed to have known and loved 4 grandparents. They, my parents, great-grandmother and I could all make out the stars when first footfall was made on the moon. Little did we know. And you, future hearts, will you take the closest of care of whatever it is we have left you? So much you must know, so little.
Thanks so much, Paul.
Published in the Irish Times.
Published in the Irish Times. Thanks, Paul and Rosie. Next up, can we have Alexandra Toth?
So I picked out this poem because I kind of have a slight interest in Hungarian history, and this poem means a lot to the Hungarians. It's basically about the Hungarian Civil Revolution, which happened in 1848 and 1849, because they tried to gain an independent state because they were under control of the Habsburg Empire. So this poem is about like that, basically. Tapra magyar híja haza, itt az idő most vagy soha. Rabok legyünk vagy szabadok, ez itt a kérdés, válasszatok. A magyarok istenére esküszünk, rabok tovább nem leszünk. Rabok voltunk mostanáig, kárhoz adtak ősapáink. Kik szabadok, szabadon éltek, haltak, szolgaföldben nem nyughattak. A magyarok istenére esküszünk, rabok tovább nem leszünk. Sehonnai bitang ember, ki most ha kell, halni nem mer. Kinek drágább röngy élete, mint a haza becsülete. A magyarok istenére esküszünk, hogy rabok tovább nem leszünk. Fényesebb a láncnál a kard, jobban ékesíti a kart. És mégis láncot hordtunk, ide vele régi kardunk. A magyarok istenére esküszünk, hogy rabok tovább nem leszünk. A magyar név megint szép lesz, méltó régi nagy híréhez. Mit rákentek a századok, lemossuk a gyalázatot. A magyarok istenére esküszünk, hogy rabok tovább nem leszünk. A sírjaink domborulnak, unokáink leborulnak, és áldó imádság mellett mondják ezt szent neveinket. A magyarok istenére esküszünk, hogy rabok tovább nem leszünk. And then this would be the official translation of it. On your feet, Magyar, the homeland calls. The time is here, now or never. Shall we be slaves or free? This is the question, choose your answer. By the God of the Hungarians we vow that we won't be slaves any longer. We were slaves up till now, damned our ancestors, who lived and died free, cannot rest in a slave land. By the God of the Hungarians we vow that we won't be slaves any longer. Useless villain of a man who now, if need be, doesn't dare to die, who values his pathetic life greater than the honor of his homeland. By the God of the Hungarians we vow that we won't be slaves any longer. The sword shines brighter than the chain, decorates better than the arm, and we still wore chains. Return now, our old sword. By the God of the Hungarians we vow that we won't be slaves any longer. The Magyar name will be great again, worthy of its old great honor, which the centuries smeared on it. We will wash away the shame. By the God of the Hungarians we vow that we won't be slaves any longer. Where our grave mounds lie, our grandchildren will kneel, and with blessing prayer recite our sainted names. By the God of the Hungarians we vow that we won't be slaves any longer.
Thanks, Alexandra. Next up, can we have Norbin Juby?
Tonight I'm Norman Doobie. I died about 3 months ago, but I was a great, if overlooked, American poet. You should check me out. The poem is called... This one is fairly intense. A Blue Hog. I didn't have to buy the acid. I found it in an old battery in the barn where the cows make sea noises and the cobwebs are plated gold. There were packets of birdseed, white floats of cork, turpentine, and an old black fish line which shouldn't have worked, but did. All of it a sin for the taking. I chose the acid for its smoke and the fish line to tie around my toe to remind me of the smoke. I threw the rotten apples into the yard, and the blue hog charged. He was unpardonable, having killed my sister's child. John couldn't butcher him. To eat that hog would be to eat the child. I poured the acid into pink Christmas bulbs and sewed them into the hollowed apples. I put them out into the sun to soften. The hog swallowed them whole like smoke. By the time he looked under himself, he was already broke. My long dress shook. He stopped to give me a look, and then ran straight at the barn. His head and shoulders passed through the boards. The horse inside had a hissing fit over him. Nobody has ridden that horse since, except for the devil, who's said to be still in the district. There you go.
Very powerful. Thanks, Dean or Norman. Next up, can we have John O'Donoghue? Who's actually Brian. Yeah. It's his first time here, so extra.
Thanks, Jim. I actually wrote my first piece of words to read tonight that was inspired by John O'Donoghue. It was called In Flame, so I thought I'd read a poem from his called For a New Beginning, which I think he puts it better than I can. So for a new beginning. In out of the way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you are ready to emerge. For a long time it has watched your desire, feeling the emptiness growing inside you, noticing how you willed yourself on, still unable to leave what you had outgrown. It watched you play with the seduction of safety, and the grey promises that sameness whispered, heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, wondered would you always live like this. Then there's a light, when the courage kindled, and you stepped out onto new ground, your eyes young again with energy and dream. A path of plenitude opening before you. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning that is at one with your life's desire. Awaken your spirit to adventure, hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk. Soon you will home in a new rhythm, for the soul senses the world that awaits you. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian, or John O'Donoghue. Next up, can we have, I think it's Kasha Kalko. Did I say that right?
I guess my handwriting was not very easy to detect there. Masha Kaleko. I don't know enough about her, I didn't do my homework well enough, but she emigrated from Germany, and I think she was from the area that's called Silesia in English, and that now partly belongs to Poland and partly to the Czech Republic. And I haven't read much of her poetry, but what I've read has touched me a lot as a German immigrant after the war, World War II. I think she was Jewish. And I pulled this out yesterday looking for this, preparing for this, and I noticed that actually I'm pulling this out for my daughter. So I'm going to read Mascha Kaliko's poem in German first and then my own translation. Mit auf die Reise. Ich kann dir keinen Zauberteppich schenken, noch Diamanten oder edlen Nerz. Drum gebe ich dir dies Schlüsselchen von Erz, dazu mein ziemlich gut erhaltenes Herz zum an mich denken. Ich kann dir keine braven Socken stricken, und meine Kochkunst würde dich nur plagen. Drum nimm den Scherben rosarotes Glas, der führt ins Märchenland, ich weiß nicht was, an grauen Tagen. Ich kann dir nicht Aladdins Lampe geben, kein Sesam und auch keinen Amethyst, doch weil dein Herz mir Flut und Ebbe ist, hier, diese Muschel, schimmernd wie von Tränen, zum nach mir sehnen. For the journey. I cannot give you a magic carpet, nor any diamonds or a gallant mink. So I will give you just this iron key, and furthermore, my fairly well-kept heart to think of me. A decent pair of socks I cannot knit you, and my culinary art would just afflict you. So please do take this shard of rosy glass that leads to fairyland I know not what on days of greyness. I cannot give to you Aladdin's lamp, no sesame and neither amethyst, but as your heart is ebb and flow to me, here, this shell, shimmering as from tears, to long for me.
Thanks a million, Sue. Next up, we have Cedric the Comment.
So actually, this one is from Paul Casey, but so we can fix this nepotism problem, as you can see. It's from the 5-word challenge, 7th of December, 2015, and the words were rain, hope, hiccup, bottle, mountain. It's untitled. For a few minutes, it was raining hiccups in the Long Valley's hayloft bar, after the barman left the bottles on their own for far too long. Poker-faced poets can wear the face of a mountain when it comes to the important things, but the flood of hiccups along Winthrop Street, however, has raised some eyebrows and questions, and one way or another, the price of a pint.
Did it win that night? It did. Well, fair play. Okay, up next we have Roseanne Watt.
This is called Rain Goose. You're surely exhausted singing your prophecies of storms in these downpour days, when none want to listen for that long tear of urgent song which first ripped open your throat. Never heed, columns of cloud are rising in the east, song or silence they gather.
Next up, can we have Billy Ramsell? Louis Mackins.
Louis MacNeese.
Louis MacNeese.
No, I forgot to write it down.
This is a poem by Louis MacNeese about the passage of time, called the sunlight on the garden. The sunlight on the garden hardens and grows cold. We cannot cage the minute. within its nets of gold. When all is told, we cannot beg for pardon. Our freedom as freelances advances toward its end. The earth compels. Upon it, sonnets and birds descend, and soon, my friend, we will have no time for dances. The sky was good for flying, defying the church bell, and every evil iron siren, and what it tells. The earth compels. We are dying, Egypt dying, and not expecting pardon. Hardened in heart anew, but glad to have sat under thunder and rain with you, and grateful too for the sunlight on the garden.
Thanks so much, Louis MacNeese. And next, can we have Mags Creedon? Did she leave?
She just went down.
Okay. Well, while she's out of there, I think I hear a voice. It's Anne Sexton. Hello, everyone. Been a few years. I always read this poem whenever I was at a reading. It was a very important one for me. It's called Her Kind. I've gone out, a possessed witch, haunting the black air, braver at night, dreaming evil. I have done my hitch over the plain houses, light by light, lonely thing, 12-fingered, out of mind. A woman like that is not a woman quite. I have been her kind. I have found a warm cave in the woods, filled them with skillets, carvings, shelves, closets, silks, innumerable goods. Fix the supper for the worms and the elves, whining, rearranging the disaligned. A woman like that is misunderstood. I have been her kind. I have ridden in your cart, driver, waved my nude arms at villages going by, learning the last bright route, survivor, where your flames still bite my thigh, and my ribs crack where your wheels wind. A woman like that is not ashamed to die. I have been her kind. Thank you. Spooky. That was her witchy, spooky poem. I'm obsessed with it. You can find it on YouTube. She's just so good. So to end the night, we have Mags Creedon.
Do you know, there's so many I wanted to read. I wanted to read Anton Floyd's one about Sheha. I wanted to read Dear Nagrifa, but Louis Mulcahy, he's been a friend of O'Vale's and he's come up there sometimes all the way up and down from Tingle. And I was there, my husband's father and people are from right beside him. And I was there and I was looking at a piece of ceramic, which is a beautiful poem in it. And then I heard his wife, Lisbeth, passed away. And she was a beautiful woman who was in our company in the Roundy. And then she was a weaver and very refined. They had great love for each other. And she used to do the lampshades. And I thought it was so sad. So I thought I'd honour Louis tonight. I just want to read the bit of ceramic and then just slip into what I think may be alluding to her. Because he wrote very gentle, romantic, tender, sensuous poetry. He's a beautiful singer as well. Enough said about Louis. Put the door na chweilóga. This is exactly what my father now would have said to me. These words, so this is for Sean O'Shea. Bobby. Put the door na chweilóga. There is a name over our door, meaningless to those who pass. On our arrival 40 years ago, men who shouted dogs to round up hillside sheep could say they held each field 100 years before and could tell their stories, sing their songs, relate their joys, tragedies, and occasional good fortune. Name their food, clothes, shoes, or none, their drownings. They told who married in and who married out, who stayed and hungered, who survived steerage, reached England or America to prosper and get lost in the attempt. They could trace the name and story of every field for miles, how it was created, drained and tilled. They knew the poets and the fiddlers, knew who built nae vogues, best man to tell the weather, the one to twist the Sugan rope, those who had the cures, good masons for dry walls. Uncoiled, narrow acre, narrow sod, memories conflict. One of 4 adjoining fields known for toil and tuber and soil, generations having hauled and spread baskets full of storm-ground sand with rotted straw and rich cow dung for the settlement of Clucker near its strand. Traditions change, and Coilog not quite yet gone. Morning steals upon perfection for her quartet. All the years of tumbling down bright life, bumping off rough sides that sped the slide, leaving marks to validate the age which she defied in every other feature of her being. The sun that turns the faultless skin to gold and smoothed tiny marks of mass and mind. Now in the satin light of dawn, made bold by riches stored beneath the night, steals back again, a shy intruder on the scene. An arm and thigh escape the dark, provoking thoughts of action fit for untamed youth, sad thoughts of 20 years unblemished, then the fall through 44 of tumbling to perfection. God rest her soul.
Thanks very much, Mags. So that actually brings us to the end of the evening. But we'll actually be moving on to mains, and Paul wanted everyone to know that Bhéal will be getting a drink for everyone in the house. Yes. So it's in your interest to come along to mains after, and a big round of applause again, look, for our winners and for all of our contributors. Happy birthday, Bhéal! You're on time. I'll leave these here.
Is there another noise?
Yeah.
Similarly to yeah.
It's on. It's actually on. Yeah, I'll find out.
Well, I'll just look it up.
Sling slang. It's kind of hard to find it. So Maureen. Are you on Maureen's newsletter?
No.
Every Tuesday.
Don't worry, I'll look it up. Maureen's, is it good? You know what night it's on?
I'll find out in April events. Actually doing one the 25th. Sling Slang the 19th. So
Oh, no, I'm not. 20, 21, 22.
yeah, I'm on as well at the 25th.
Oh, actually, she choose this better.
Yeah, the 19 and 26.
Okay. Try and go. Yes, I know this. Yeah. Yeah, but it's really nice. And everyone is so nice.
I know, it is so supportive.
Point me in the direction that it's going down. Let it go and start hitting my kids up.
If you're still out there, not sure. Sure. Okay. Sure. Let me just go away with it, girl.